Yeah, so recording is started. Welcome to another MSI demo. Today we have some really interesting updates, specifically the ones which are happening in the scope of upcoming MSI 112 release. So we'll be talking about some of the features which will be delivered in the release and the documentation and the processes update. So quite a lot of stuff to start with. I was hoping that Vadim would be the first to demonstrate the CLI command today, but he's not answering me on Slack, so I hope he will answer me right now.
Yes, I'm here.
Vadim,
I'm prepared.
would you like to present the latest updates to the CLI command?
Sure. So I share my screen.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So I hope you can see my screen. Do you? Can you?
We can.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, first of all, I hope you see also the console here, the terminal window. What I did the last couple of weeks with MSI is first of all implement this command, which just lists all the inconsistencies we have regarding reservations. And the command create compensations, which should which is a manual opportunity to add reservations which are currently missing, and so in order to compensate the saleable quantity. I displayed here the current help of above commands. So probably I should also say this one was there before I started. Also, we changed it a little bit and refactored it since we needed this information also for reservations. How does it work? Or first of all, why do we have probably inconsistencies with reservations? There are a couple of scenarios when this could happen. One of I think typical one could be if a merchant is switching from Magento 2.2 to Magento 2.3. So he's start using MSI, and probably there are already orders there which are not completed yet, and reservations came now new to the system. So this orders will be compensated when, for example, shipments will be done or order will be cancelled, but there wasn't an initial reservation for the amount which was sold. So therefore, we need to compensate it, or also a scenario if we just switching from default source or default stock to a MSI stock, or also if we switch the stock for a website while there are still incomplete orders there, just by switching stock. Or also switching from managed to from a non-managed stock to a managed stock configuration. What we did is I have now in my database some inconsistencies which I made by just deleting some reservations from the database directly, and the list command displays us all detected inconsistencies which we have. We have also a row option there in order to return more machine readable information. And this is what we're also using in order to pipe both commands with each other in order to compensate directly from this list into our compensation command. So it can be done by doing like this. So what I'm doing here is just displaying the raw list of inconsistencies and pipe it into my create compensation command. So now they are compensated. As you can see, there are no inconsistencies anymore. Of course, we can also use it like an argument. It would look like more like this. I don't know which one is preferred, but also can xargs all the raw output and throw it as argument to the compensation command. So yeah, next steps regarding this topic probably I'm still on doing some integration tests for all the inconsistency aggregation. I think there are still some possible inconsistencies missed, yeah, afterwards I will improve the calculation by doing it with integration tests, because the possible cases are too many in order to make it without tests.
Vadim, can you
Yes.
please show how the reservation look currently in database? Just to
Right
demonstrate
now.
that you created the manual adjustment reservation, but not like remove the existing problems, for example.
Sure.
So can you connect to the MySQL database and
yeah,
show
do you
how
see my MySQL workbench right now, or should I change the? Give me a second. I need to change now, right?
Yeah, we see something.
You see something. It's a little bit tricky since I switched to the dark theme in macOS. What I don't know whether I can make it bigger here. No, I can't. Yes, but we see here my reservation list before I was updating the select. After running the update, I see there are some event type manual compensation there. I think it's a bit too small, but yeah, these are the reservations we made right now.
Can you please show whether you preserve the order ID for this reservation? I mean, if you had the inconsistency for the order ID with number 3, when you are compensating, so you are compensating and keeping this order ID 3 here. Yeah, probably you do.
Yes, of course, there's the order ID, since I think now I need to switch the window again. I can't. So yes, this is why we need the increment ID for the order when we're running the compensation command. So because of course we need an object ID there. All right, or should I go into my console or terminal MySQL client in order to show it in a better way for you?
Yeah, sure. You can go to console.
Switching it again. Let me see. Reservations, right? No.
You can make like show tables, like
I got it already.
Yeah, so now it's much better like than in your previous previous client.
It's a tool which I'm using not for presentations, you know. So so here we see the manual compensations we made before, and there is a object ID which is pointing the order ID. So for my compensation, I was given here the order increment ID, and needs to resolve it into the entity ID when I'm creating the reservation.
Okay, looks good. But regarding the object ID with 1, so I see that the first record in your table was also with a quantity -1, and then
Yeah,
we
that was for the first stock. And this one, because I was switching the stock for it, so for the second stock there was a missing reservation.
Okay.
What we currently missing here in the compensation command is that we also negotiate or made a +1 reservation for the first stock for this order.
I see.
So this is a case which is still missing there, which I want to implement after adding all the integration tests.
But currently I don't see any reservation for this object ID 1. Sorry, like I don't have a clue why you compensated it with a -1.
Because in this order we bought this SKU with quantity 1. This order was placed on stock 1, so it was the default stock we used before. Afterwards, I switched the stock for my main website to my second stock, and this is why there is without this compensation, we don't have any reservation for this order on the second stock.
But you, I see. But you, okay. But you suppose also to compensate the reservation with a +1 on the stock 1, isn't it?
Yes. This is what we still need to do here. We still need to add the option that we compensate this one with +1 on first stock in order to become this 0, right? And the order self should now be reserved on stock 2.
But in any case, at least if I understand correctly, when that order would be processed and when it would be closed, you can run again this compensational CLI tool, and this compensational CLI tool will identify the first reservation as inconsistent and also will compensate it. So that even with existing functionality on board, we can identify the inconsistency, but at the time when the order would be completed and fulfilled, correct?
Yes, but this is something we need to test with integration tests, because I'm not sure whether stock 1 will be currently checked anyway. Since the order is now running for a website which is running on the stock 2. So stock 1 will be completely ignored currently, so we still need...
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, so need to be checked.
Yeah, since there's also no historical data on an order on which stock the order was placed, so we only can we can only see which on which website it was placed, and on which website does the stock currently running, but not on which it was running during the order placement.
But actually, by design behavior, I don't think that we gonna change it anyhow, because we're supposed to fulfill the order based on the current assignment, but not based on the assignment in previous, because the previous assignment may not be actual anymore, and maybe the previous stock wouldn't be could not even exist at the time when the order fulfilled. So.
Yeah, and also currently we differ between completed and not completed orders, but the reservations might be already compensated, even completely compensated, even if the order is not completed yet, but it's completely shipped. So it's also difficult to match. So probably we need to differ between shipped and not between completed and not completed. But I think we need to discuss it.
But usually, like currently, we rely not only on complete status, but either complete or cancelled or
yes.
So
I think we just need to switch complete with shipped, or even stick to the order item quantities. So we have a count there where how many was ordered, how many was shipped, how many was cancelled, and so on. So this should be our this is the source of truth for the compensation and reservation, I think.
But currently we don't have such status as shipped. Moreover, like the quantity in the scope of the order updated not only in the scope of the ship operation, but also in the scope of the order cancellation or in the scope of the credit memory fund.
Sure, so but you have on the order item level, you have for every kind of quantity an own row. So you know how many was ordered, you know how many was shipped, how many was cancelled, how many was returned, and so on.
Correct, but correct. So either your point here that we can't determine whether we have some inconsistency in the scope of the order until we have the order in the completed, cancelled, or closed status, so that we can do it, let's say earlier, like based on the fact whether like quantity was fully compensated in the scope of shipment or refund.
Yeah, I think we don't need to stick on the order status, but only on the item quantities. So we can still see how many items are not fulfilled, which quantity per item in order is still not fulfilled in any way, as whether cancelled or shipped or anything else. And therefore we know how many still need to be reserved in our database.
Okay, maybe, yeah. So we probably can discuss it a bit later, but I believe that even now, when we rely on the complete status of the order, this is, I believe for most of the merchants it would be pretty sufficient, because even so that like he, for example, identifies the inconsistency earlier, but he still can like complete the order, and then our tool will find that inconsistency and fix it.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Vadim. This was a great presentation, and I just want to remind that all of this work will be available in the scope of 1.1.2 release. So everything Vadim has demonstrated at this point is already like going to packaging. So merchants will be able to use it really soon. So next on the agenda is, I believe, is Alexander, who is going to provide some of the updates regarding the store pickup track and what we can expect in the following weeks.
Hello, guys. So, pretty short update about store pickup track. The previous week, the current week, we was not invest so many hour time to this topic, but I want to share what we are going to do in the closest future. So there was at least 3 issues which we still need for base implementation of the store pickup. And we are going to do it in the closest week. So first one is add pickup location attributes to the source entity. Second one is adjust our source selection algorithm in base of using store pickup orders. And the last one is finally create endpoint for a pickup location, so we'll be able to receive them. And also good news that we found a person who is ready to help us with in-store pickup implementation on front end, and hopefully he will start help us from the next week. So I think it is it. Thank you for attention.
This sounds really great, and I suppose if we have somebody joining the front-end track, we have to organize some kind of maybe grooming together to finalize the look and feel of the front-end part of the store pickup.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you, Alexander. Okay, so the next on the agenda is Vitaly. Vitaly has been working on multiple bug fixes during the last few weeks. Actually, Vitaly has done like 2 bug fixes in Contribution Day in Kiev, and then joined one more pretty complicated issue and helped fixing it as well. So, Vitaly, stage is yours. Please show us what you have done.
Hi guys. Okay, let me share my screen. So, can you see it? Can you see it?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, thank you. So, both bug fixes was related to shipment process and source selection algorithms. So, in one issue, guy cannot create shipment, and the issue caused by enabled source selection algorithm for order with disabled inventory, which is weird. So in order to fix it, I've disabled source selection algorithm for such orders. I create kind of dedicated service which takes all order items and check them for stock manageability, let's say, and then use the service in all needed places, let's say. Other issue was related to configurable product. So as we all know, configurable product, I believe, configurable product and configurable with configurable custom options. So custom options for such products has generated SKU. That's why this SKU not stored, let's say, the inventory for such SKU not being counted, but on the source selection algorithm page, let's say Magento tend to find this product in sources, and this leads to the issue. So the implementation was quite straightforward. I just check if the product configurable and get for this product actual SKU. So let's jump into the Magento admin. I have here prepared orders for both cases. So I believe order ID3 contains a product with disabled inventory. So And as you can see, when we click ship, we should be redirected to shipment instead to source selection algorithm page, as it is. So, and order which contains one product with manageable inventory and one with disabled inventory. It's for case with configurable product with custom options. So actually I check in both cases here. Here is configurable product with custom options, and let's click ship. Yeah, so now we can make shipment for make stock deduction for configurable product with custom options, as you see. Sorry, what? Igor, what?
I like the source names.
Yeah, it's it's kind of my sign. So, and yeah, and so let's proceed with shipment. Well, shipment was placed, everything works fine. Yeah, have you any questions?
It looks good to me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Vitaly. That was exciting, and thank you for fixing those bugs. Our next release will be apparently much better in quality, thanks to you. And the next one is our documentation star, and Lori will share all of the updates related to the new documentation. That would be the new features and the release notes and all that stuff. So please.
Sure.
Please.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
So I know it's been probably a while since we've had a lot of documentation updates, but we have a bunch for 2.3.2. So as we kind of just went over with the CLI new references, I've gone ahead and we've created a CLI reference section. We also moved the geocode information for that CLI. So as we continue to add commands, we can continue building this reference. Now, this is all what I'm showing right now is draft content that won't be live until 2.3.2 is out. So because I love you all so much, I also put it in the wiki. So you can look at it now, and as we may have changes in regression or anything of that nature, we can update this and the other one at the same time. And just through the demo, I was able to add a couple of nice little additions, like the event type being a manual compensation. And each of these has descriptions of the options, shows the commands, and also provides some example responses based on how those work out. We also have, as you will notice, a ton of brand new diagrams and content. So this is the updated content that's in the user guides that, of course, will not be going out till 2.3's live. And if because I love you all, it's also over in all of, where is it? Over in here, you're going to notice all the diagrams have been updated with new, cleaner diagrams. Ones that deal with resources have a bit more information and are far more clear. I also updated all of the content around reservations throughout the wiki and the user guides. You will also find the new, the new option is down in here and described for the legacy stock alignment and what this means and what you have to do to enable it. It's also in the other user guide content, along with little notes and updates throughout based on all of our bug fixes and updates for 2.3.2. And then these are the new looking release notes. If you haven't looked at them recently on DevDocs, we're starting to kind of provide icons and information to show what's coming. We're also going to have like a new icon for known issues. This is all kind of provided throughout. Hidden in the code also, we keep track of every PR and issue that are related with each of these. So if we ever need to look back at those, or if you ever look at the source on the page, you can find those. So all of the information has been provided for 1.1.2 for MSI, including all of the information for updating and upgrading in here, including all of the list of new modules that have been created. We have a new GraphQL module. There's also the CLI modules for reservations and a few others for the legacy alignment that we added, which are also in, sorry, I'm pinging around, my apologies. In the wiki, you can also go to the MSI release notes and installation and find all of the updates there as well. I'll keep both of our internal content, which will be ready for publish when 2.3.2 publishes, as well as the wiki in sync. That way you get a preview of everything that's going to come out and you don't have to wait. So it'll always be there, including some links that may go to internal content to the wiki, and those will get updated later. And finally, let's see. We also documented the bulk partial transfer API. Now this one I don't have an example of currently in the wiki, but I can go ahead and add that if folks would like that content to preview. But we have documented this API as part of our tutorial, so you'll be able to walk through this one as well as the bulk APIs that are available. We also, I don't have it to preview, but we documented the new GraphQL attributes that have been added to support MSI orders as well. And I think, yeah, I went through all of that. And then the next item that will be tackled today, we'll be getting a PR ready for the amazing information Igor provided on the Magento MSI APIs. So if you want to look at it now, that was linked in Slack. And it will also be put into the DevDocs. Drafting will be starting today. So it's a ton of updates. To make it simple, I will put links to everything you can look at now into Slack, so you can just review as you like. Phew. Any questions?
This looks totally awesome, Lori, as usual, and probably this looks even better than usual, because like this is exactly like very cool that we have two versions, like one of kind of official on the DevDocs and one on a MSI wiki, because probably we will proceed with publishing beta package before the official Magento 2.3.2 release. So that this is very cool that people who would be like an early adopters can see what exactly released, and they can follow the documentation, not on the official place but on the MSI wiki. So this is awesome. This is very adjusted with how we want to bring it to early adopters. Thank you very much. This is terrific.
No problem.
Thank you very much, Lori. The next one on the agenda is Tom, and Tom will provide us with a regular quality update, which we have every week. So, Tom, please proceed.
Great, thank you, Eugene. Okay, let me get PowerPoint up here. Hopefully you're seeing my PowerPoint right now. So just our weekly update. See if this full screens. Yep, there we go. Okay, so April 26th. What we're looking at here in terms of our snapshot then is obviously MSI 112 release. So what we talked about last week was a refocus on MFTF coverage. And we've done that. So we added 3 new tests last week. We've also added 3 new tests this week, and this is all net new testing, things that haven't been previously covered by functional automation. That's finishing off credit memo scenarios, but also doing some really foundational work in order products, things we hadn't had covered in customer flows that will form a basis for increasing regression coverage in MSI, and that's around sort of order flows, stock inventory, and reordering as well. We don't have great coverage in, so that's going to be the next one. I did say I wanted to get that number, that 6 number, 3 plus 3, up to something more like 8 or 10, but during the week, there's also been 8 existing tests which have been refactored for some minor fixes, but also managed to improve test stability in those, making them more repeatable, less flaky, much more reliable in our builds as well. So there has been some sort of maintenance work done there as well. But like I said last week, we wanted to focus on MFTF a little. We've put some numbers up and we're going to try and continue that going forward. You'll see in the numbers we also increased our manual test coverage by 25. So we're up from 625 to 650 full tests defined in hit tests for our coverage position. Otherwise, looking at our issues and bugs created, so we opened, within the last 7 days, we opened 7 issues, closed 3. If you're just focusing on those that are bugs, 1 open, 1 currently open still, albeit that was opened within the last 24 hours by Slava, and it's table inventory, saleable quantities, not quite working without a stock, 2204. Very recent, hopefully we'll have that closed out by next week. Apart from that, automated testing is similar. We can see our gray line. It doesn't look like it's trending up much here, but if you check the numbers, it is. And as I say, that blue number at the top there is trended up from 626 to 650. If we take since the end of the regression cycle, that April 5th number here, we can see we've gone 602 to 650. So as we're actually increasing our functionality in MSI and adding features, we are completely documenting those in test cases as well. So it's great to see that top blue number come up because it shows that we are, giving quality the respect it deserves and having all our definitions there that can be automated. Otherwise, no further change in terms of severity and component. The new tests are in catalog and sales. Manual testing, no update since our full regression cycle. We'll have more on that when we get another regression cycle next week. So that's the update. If we have any quality questions, I'll take them now. Otherwise, that is your week's quality.
Thank you,
I think
Tom.
we're all good.
Yeah, thank you very much. We indeed had quite a lot of new tests and fixed tests over the past weeks. So thank you very much for putting an effort into that, as this is really important. So to finalize today's demo, just really short update on the upcoming 112, which we have been talking about quite a lot. We have quite a big number of features and bug fixes coming into that release, and I think starting today we will be cutting off pull requests with the newer features. We will continue maybe to accept only bug fixes into release, but all of the newer features or like major improvements will have to go into the next MSI release starting from now on. Yep. Also, we are looking for a small update on the branching strategy. I think we'll be decoupling from the Magentos, like core Magento versioning strategy. We'll be abandoning branches 2.3 and 2.3.0 because, well, MSI is not really related to those, and we'll be starting to use something like maybe 1 develop and 1 release, which would semantically correspond to the MSI version. So this is pretty much it. I guess maybe Igor has something to update. I'm not sure.
No, I don't.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for joining. It was a pleasure having you all today, and we had really lots of useful information. Thank you for your time, and see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.